rewired my brain from a self-destructive, survival-based human being into a self-led, abundance-building human being. And I'm going to share with you the exact method that I used in order to do this. As long as I can remember, I always knew I was meant for more. And I don't mean that in like a surface level way. I could feel it. And if you're listening to this, you probably have the same feeling. But like me, you probably just like push those feelings to the side and you settle for your current reality. Because honestly, if you look around you, that's what everybody else is doing. But nonetheless, I would think about this life where I felt fulfilled, free, like choose how I want to spend my days, like I do now. Financially secure. No, not secure. Like filthy fucking rich. Giving to everybody and deeply in love with my life. But it always felt out of reach. And I would maybe try some things. I would take like an investment course or pick up some extra shifts. I had a second job at one point. I would apply for leadership positions, but that $2 an hour pay raise, it didn't really make a difference. And so I would just settle into my life and I would accept that what I dreamt about was something that just happened for other people. Kind of like winning the lottery. And honestly, for a period of my life, I treated it like that. I used to spend $6 every single week buying a Lotto Max ticket, just visualizing the win, imagining what my life would look like, right? Manifesting like all these gurus say online. And every time I didn't win, I would feel very disappointed when it didn't happen. And I'm like, oh, I'm just not fucking manifesting harder. That wasn't it. It really comes down to utilizing your brain, which is what I'm going to teach you right now. What I've learned after starting my own business, creating multiple six-figure investments, owning a couple homes, being deeply in love with my husband, and showing up in motherhood in a way that I can actually be proud of myself, I really am living my best life, is that the people I used to watch, they didn't get lucky. They didn't just figure out some strategy that I didn't know. They executed as a different version of themselves, as a future version of themselves, and that standard becomes who they are. And what's interesting is I've been doing this my whole life without even realizing it. I used to be a lost cause drug addict. I'm talking using every single day, engaging in criminal activity. And now this is my life. And it always comes down to decisions. This is what deciding looks like. Not about what you want, but who you need to be. And that focus changed everything. Most people like myself a few years ago are trying to create a new life while being the same person. They're making decisions based on their past. They're doing the healing work, sitting on your therapist's couch, talking about all your trauma, just rewalking that neural pathway, thinking that somehow that will create a different outcome. But what's happening is you're doing everything that you've always done. It's like trying to drive forward in your car, but you're just looking in the rearview mirror the whole time. That's what's guiding you. And then you wonder why you feel stuck, and you wonder why you never get to your destination. And so you look at all the people winning, right? And you build a little bit of resentment. Are they lying? There must be something they're not sharing. They're fucking gatekeeping. But that is your brain being an asshole and keeping you walking that same pathway that you have always walked. That is why nothing changes until you change your brain. The reality is, if your identity is still fundamentally the same, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how hard you're working, because the only thing matters is who your brain believes you are. And this hit me in one of my rock bottom moments when I hit a wall and I burnt myself out in my career as a child protection social worker. After years of understanding human behavior and helping people facilitate change, I realized I wasn't actually applying any of the science to my own life. And I looked at my life and I couldn't understand, like, how am I working so hard and just floating paycheck to paycheck, just living this mediocre average life when my soul knew we were meant to live a big fucking life? So I did something different. I stopped trying to fix my habits. I stopped trying to stay motivated. I stopped looking for like another strategy or another quick fix that I could invest all my money into. And I started looking in the mirror at who I was being. I mean, I went back through my life, all my patterns, my beliefs, the identities I had adopted throughout my entire life, and I realized something that really pissed me off. I was doing everything from an identity that was designed to just survive, not actually live a happy, fulfilling life, just managing the day-to-day pain or pleasure. But on top of all the pressures, right? Those daily pressures in your life, if you have children, the bills, the expectations, the relationships. As a single mom, all I felt was pressure. And your brain loves to automate things. So you live on autopilot and you get caught up in making a living instead of designing a life and managing circumstances instead of becoming the creator of your life. And in order to become the creator of your life, what I've learned is your identity needs to be that of leadership. So let's actually talk about what that is. Your identity is made up of three things: the beliefs that you repeat, the decisions you make or avoid making, and the evidence that your brain collects. And trust me, your brain will work tirelessly to collect evidence that aligns with who it believes you are. Because your brain has one job. It's not to make you happy or successful, it's to keep you alive with as little effort as possible. So once it locks into who you are, it automates everything you do. That's why you don't have to think about brushing your teeth, right? That's why you don't have to be motivated to go and brush your teeth. That's why you don't have to think about your daily patterns. It's also why you don't have to think about when self-doubt comes, or playing small, or hesitation, or procrastination, or holding yourself back, because that is what has been automated. So you want all the fun stuff, but you're skipping the work that actually requires you to reprogram your brain. So if you're sitting here thinking, why can't I just get myself to follow through? Why do I keep sabotaging things? Why does this feel so hard? It's because there's a version of you that is trying to create that life is not the version of you who has the ability to create that life, okay? Your brain will always act in alignment with who it believes you are. Even if you want to show up differently, even if you are busy taking actions, your brain won't allow you to actually fully embody that future self or the result that you are seeking because it doesn't believe it's possible. So when I was making $4,000 to $5,000 a month, I was not the person who believed I could hold $1 million. I was making decisions as a person who makes $5,000 a month. I was thinking like that person, and I didn't have any evidence to act like somebody who was making $1 million. So of course, my life reflected that. I want you to walk away with something, a practice. I want you to look at yourself right now. Not who you want or what you want, not even your goals. I want you to reflect on who you are on a daily basis. What do you believe about yourself? What do you tolerate? What decisions are you making? And if you want to dive deeper into this practice, I do have a free life audit. It's a visualization practice audio and a journaling exercise, and you can grab that on my website anytime. But the version of you, the answer to these questions, that's who's creating your reality right now. And so you can buy a 5-step framework or another manifestation course, but it's not actually going to change your outcome. And it's not about shame. This is about taking personal responsibility for the fact that at some point you stopped creating your life and you started managing it instead of actually deciding who you're going to be. And yes, this is a decision you have to make every single morning. I wake up in the morning. Before I even open my eyes, I ask myself, who am I going to show up as today? And the answer is always somebody who fucking wins. Somebody who I can be proud of at the end of the day. Somebody who shows up and serves other people and uses her gifts for good. The truth is, you have everything inside of you already to be successful. You have everything in you to accomplish your most delusional goals. You're not missing. There's nothing lacking. You've just been operating from an identity that doesn't match where you want to go. And this is the work that changed everything for me. This is what has allowed me to go from survival to actually building a life that feels aligned, abundant, intentional. I can't stop smiling when I think about my life. To becoming the standard I set for myself, there isn't a single goal that I do not execute on. There is no hesitation. I decide, I execute. I decide, I execute. And so do the people that I work with. And this is exactly why I created Limitless Life, is because you can't learn this from thinking. You can't think your way into becoming a different person, into creating a different reality. You need to learn how to wire your brain, to train your brain, to act in alignment with who you need to be to create the life you want. And there's 8 steps to this, an entire framework that I have based all of my success on. And at the end of these 8 steps, you have the ability to create anything you want. Limitless life, right? You'll create a vehicle of impact, a business that aligns with your purpose, with your mission, with what you were put here to do. And that won't only create significant impact in the world, but it will help you reach any delusional income goal. Any goal you can think of. I mean it. The screensaver on my phone says, making $555,000 every single month is the easiest thing I've ever done. And it is incredible how many people I get to help. And this will come to fruition. So you could follow along and watch me win, or you can learn how to train your brain and win too. Because at the end of the day, your life doesn't change when you learn more. It changes when you become somebody different. And this, my friends, this is what deciding looks like. No permission needed.